What if the sun were 1% hotter than now? Imagine waking up one day, and the sun, the very star that sustains life on Earth, has suddenly become 1% hotter than it is today. At first glance, a 1% increase might not sound like much, but when dealing with the sun's immense power, that small percentage translates into massive changes. The sun's surface temperature currently averages about 5,778 Kelvin. So a 1% rise means an increase of nearly 58 degrees Kelvin. That seemingly minor change would unleash more energy into our planet's climate system than our civilization has ever experienced. One of the first noticeable effects would be a rise in global temperatures. Even a 1 degrees Celsius increase in average global temperature can cause significant disruptions. But this scenario could push Earth's temperature up by several degrees within just a few decades or less. This means hotter summers, milder winters in some places, and the expansion of desert regions as rainfall patterns shift. Countries already struggling with heat waves would face even more extreme and prolonged events. And agricultural systems would be under severe stress. And glaciers would melt at an accelerated pace. The Arctic, which is already warming faster than the rest of the world, could lose its summer sea ice entirely in just a few years. The melting of the Greenland ice sheet and parts of Antarctica would accelerate, causing global sea levels to rise much faster than predicted. Coastal cities like Jakarta, Miami, and Bangkok would be on the front lines, experiencing frequent flooding or even being submerged over time. Ocean systems would be heavily impacted. Warmer surface temperatures mean more powerful storms, including stronger hurricanes and typhoons. The intensity and frequency of these storms would skyrocket, putting millions at risk. Marine life would also face major disruptions as coral reefs bleach and die off due to higher water temperatures, threatening the ecosystems that support a large portion of the world's fish supply. In many parts of the world, freshwater scarcity would become more severe. Higher temperatures increase evaporation rates, drying up lakes, rivers, and reservoirs faster than they can be replenished. Droughts would become more frequent and severe, impacting food production and potentially sparking water conflicts between nations. Farmers would struggle to adapt as crops fail under the heat stress and reduced soil moisture. Forests, often called the lungs of the planet, would also face severe challenges. Increased heat and prolonged dry periods would create perfect conditions for wildfires. Regions like the Amazon, California, Australia could see unprecedented fire seasons, releasing massive amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, further amplifying global warming in a dangerous feedback loop. The shift in climate zones would also affect biodiversity. Animals and plants would migrate toward cooler regions, but not all species can adapt quickly enough. Many would face extinction as their habitats shrink or disappear entirely. Tropical rainforests, which rely on stable temperatures and humidity, could degrade into savannas or grasslands, losing countless species in the process. Human health would also be at risk. Heat-related illnesses like heat stroke would become far more common, especially in regions without adequate cooling infrastructure. Diseases carried by insects, such as malaria and dengue fever, would spread to new areas as warmer temperatures expand mosquito habitats. Hospitals and healthcare systems could be overwhelmed during extreme heat events. The economic impact of a hotter sun would be staggering. Agriculture, tourism, fishing, and insurance industries would take massive hits. We might see large-scale migrations away from the equator toward cooler latitudes. New agricultural techniques, drought-resistant crops, and advanced water recycling systems would become essential. Governments might even explore ambitious geoengineering projects, such as deploying solar reflectors in space to reduce the amount of sunlight reaching Earth. That's why scientists study solar activity closely, using satellites and ground-based observatories to monitor changes in its brightness, solar flares, and magnetic activity. Understanding the sun's behavior is critical for predicting how our planet's climate will evolve. In essence, even a slight increase in the sun's heat output has the potential to reshape life on Earth in profound ways. From melting ice and rising seas to disrupted ecosystems and human migrations, the ripple effects would touch every aspect of our existence. While this may be a what-if scenario, it underscores the delicate balance that makes Earth habitable and how easily it could be tipped. If our sun were 1% hotter, survival would hinge on rapid adaptation, international cooperation, and the ability to harness technology to protect ourselves from an increasingly hostile environment. Whether through innovation or migration, humanity would be forced to rethink its relationship with the planet and the star that sustains it.